Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let There Be Talk. It is Monday, February 1st, and this episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is absolutely amazing. It makes making a website totally simple and finally takes the handcuffs off. Over the years, you paid people to make websites, and then you can't update it yourself. You don't know how to work it, and there you are. You got a dead website after 2, 3, sometimes a year. And Squarespace makes it completely simple. I love it. Super easy to use. You want to make a website? Go with Squarespace. Type in the promo code, Let There Be Talk, and get started. Maybe you're a band, a comedian, a small business, whatever you're doing and you want to have a website, this is the way to go, man. It makes it super simple. And even I can do it, which means anyone can do it. Get on Squarespace. Don't lag, man. Check them out. You'll be stunned how easy it is, and boom, you'll have a website. All your friends at the party will think you're a computer genius, and then next thing you know, they'll pay you to build their websites thinking it's hard, and boom, you're a millionaire. Get with some Squarespace. Get on it. Enter the promo code, Let There Be Talk.
That used to be a king, and everything around me turned to gold. Thought I had everything, so I'm left without a hand to hold.
All right, everybody, how's it going? Here we are, Monday, February 1st. We are one day away from the Delray at the El Rey Super Show. If you don't have tickets, you better get them now. The show is tomorrow night, February 2nd at the El Rey on Wilshire in Los Angeles. And we have an epic night planned for you. We have comedians Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, Chris D'Elia, Red Band, Joe Bartnick, and myself all doing comedy. Then we'll take a little break, and we'll come back, and we're going to do a full tribute to Bon Scott of AC/DC with some just mind-boggling players. Bill Burr is going to play drums on a couple songs. We got Marc Ford from the Black Crowes playing some guitar. Chris Goss from Masters of Reality. Dave Kushner from Velvet Revolver and F is for Family. Dave Lombardo, Slayer drummer, going to come down and rock some. Michael Devon from Whitesnake's going to play some bass along with Rudy Sarzo. Gilby Clark's going to be there. GNR, Gilby Clark, Tracy Guns, Mike Keneally from Zappa. The list goes on and on. We've got some secret jammers showing up. Do not miss this full tribute. Get your tickets at goldenvoice.com right now. Whew. All right. Some of the promos out of the way. Let's get into the episode here. This is absolutely one of my dream guests, and I want to thank, first of all, Steve Gorham, Steve Gorman for setting it up, man. Steve Gorman, of course, was one awesome episode here on Let There Be Talk, and also former drummer of the Black Crowes. And everybody knows that I absolutely worship the Black Crowes. So about a week ago, I see this tweet come up in my feed, and it's Gorman, and he says, an amazing guitar player I know is making a record. And I click on it, and it's a Kickstarter for Marc Ford. Marc Ford, of course, is the guitar player in the Black Crowes for the best records of all time made by them, which would be Southern Harmony, Amorica, and Three Snakes. So immediately, I was like, oh shit, I haven't talked to Marc Ford in years. I hit Gorman. I've got to have him on the podcast. Gorman, in 1 minute, sets it up. unbelievable. And the next day, a dream guest is in the studio with me. So thank you, Steve Gorman. Once again, awesome friend and just incredible drummer and human. So everybody follow Gorman on Twitter and give him some love. And also follow Marc Ford on Twitter. He would love you to follow him and spread the word about this Kickstarter. Kickstarter.com/Marc Ford and get this record made. I want to get this record made. He's trying to get 40 grand. I just checked. He's at 14 grand with 23 days left. So I think we can do it. And this is how it works now, people. If you love great musicians and you want to still hear them play, we got to help them out. There's no record companies just jumping up to throw dollars at artists anymore. They only look for quick bucks, and you're going to get the generic stuff over and over and over. So if you want the real stuff, we got to help out the musicians. I got to tell you, I played a few gigs with Marc Ford in my life, and he was definitely the best guitar player I've ever played with. The guy is unbelievable, and I really feel that he is my generation's Mick Taylor. And also the Black Crowes during the Marc Ford years was really like our Stones era of Mick Taylor era, that kind of thing, you know. Between Black Crowes and Ryan Adams' Gold Tour, I think that's probably the closest we'd ever get to seeing Stones on the Exile era. So he came down, he was very honest, and it was a great day. Of course, we were both nervous, and I think by the middle of this interview, it really got going and got fucking smooth and fun. The guy is a real deal, and he tells us his story right here on Let There Be Talk, and I can't thank you enough, Marc, for coming down. So let's take a listen to this episode. Before we do, just a couple more things. I do have the Patreon page going. You want to donate to the podcast, it's patreon.com /Dean Del Rey. I want to give some of these people that donated some shout outs. Joshua Liston, Robert Schulter, Joe, just a guy named Joe donated. Bobby D. Reynolds, Benjamin Nye, Joshua Baker, Doug Fletcher, Stacy Otero, and what else we got here? Scott Polans, Tony Edelman, my boy from Sacramento, Robert Schulter, Marianne Johnson, Matt Adams, Rob Chappell, Justin Castle, all of you guys, thank you so much for hitting the Patreon page. If you don't want to donate, don't sweat it. Just leave a review on iTunes. That's fucking gold, man. The more reviews and subscribers I get, the higher we get into the top 50, top 200, top 100, whatever. It's all because of you guys, the listeners. And I can't thank you enough. I'm going to get into the episode right now. I hope to see you guys Tuesday night when I turn 50 years old at the El Rey. Del Rey at the El Rey. Right now, though, let's get into this. Light the candles of rock. Here he is, Mr. Marc Ford. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let There Be Talk. Got an incredible guest today, an old friend who I haven't seen in years, and a dream guest, actually. One of my dream guests, Mr. Marc Ford. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing very well.
You look great, man.
I am.
You go through a lot of different looks. You know, I think the last time I saw you, did you go to the Van Halen rehearsals at the Forum? Were you there? I saw you at a concert.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I saw you at a concert, and you kind of looked like late 60s Clapton. You had like short hair and some blue glasses on. You were with your son somewhere. I can't remember. But I think that was the last time I saw you. It's been a long time, man.
And did I look handsome?
You looked, you always look amazing. I love your look. You always looked great. You have all kinds of different looks, and they're always great.
Thank you.
You were one of the, obviously in my group of friends, you were the guy that were like, that guy's cool. He played a Les Paul special. You know, you had matchless. You wore bell bottoms. You know, at one point you had like sideburns. Just dope look.
You know, a girl's got to look good.
Now, where the hell you been, man? I haven't seen you in a long time.
I've been in San Clemente.
San Clemente? Where's that at?
It's just before Camp Pendleton, at the very tip
Oh.
bottom of Orange County.
Oh, shit. Like on the way to San Diego there.
Right.
Wow.
And then you have Pendleton, and then you have Oceanside, and then you get into San Diego County.
You living out there?
Yeah, it's just, bitchin' little place, and just dropped out
Dropped
for
out.
a while and had to reboot from ground up,
Now, last time I saw you, besides that one time, we played together. And then I remember, what was it, like '06 or so, you get back into the Black Crowes?
Yeah, 05.
'05.
05 and
I went
06.
to those shows in New York. I think there was 6. And the amazing thing about that was nobody knew what the lineup was going to be. Like, is it going to be Marc Ford? Who's going to be on drums? And then the curtain came up and it was like, fuck, it's Marc Ford, but who's the drummer? I remember that, like, they kept it a total secret.
I don't remember that. No.
Were you still partying then?
No.
No? But you just don't remember?
I don't remember that bit of it.
Right.
I remember everything about it, being there and rehearsing and my son coming with me.
Right.
Because he had just got expelled from school. And I was like, you're bored to death of school and you're smart enough to be out now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave for 6 weeks. Should I leave him here bored out of school? I'm like,
No.
he's going to get more trouble here. So I said, you're coming with me.
Yeah.
And so for 6 weeks, we lived in Manhattan and together in a hotel room. And he saw all the rehearsals,
Wow.
saw all the warm-up gigs in clubs, and then those 6 opening gigs.
Right, right.
So
There was some warm-up gigs before?
yeah, we did some club dates.
Wow, I didn't even know that, because at the time nobody knew. It felt like to me that nobody knew who was going to be on guitar, And then I remember the curtain opening. It's a different drummer, and that guy immediately got fired. It seemed like he had like bad nerves and tempo. Like, I could just see Chris screaming at him, like, faster, slower. I was like, how did this even happen? I mean, you had to be rehearsing with the guy and he had to be fine, right?
Yeah. He was fine.
Yeah. But I feel
But
like,
there's a long way between fine and great.
yeah, I mean, you're coming from Gorman to a different guy, right? It's a lot like
And that's a lot to step into
yeah,
for a kid, or whoever the guy,
yeah,
however old he was or wherever he was at. It especially, something that's got such, that lineup had worked that way because of the chemistry between those people. And anybody entering into that,
Yeah.
it took us years to get there.
yeah,
And to step into that, it's got to be a little overwhelming.
yeah, absolutely.
And you find out where your chops are at.
Yeah, as a sold out. What was that? The Beacon, or what was that theater? I can't remember. It was.
Some kind of ballroom.
Yeah, but it was
In
just.
New York.
I remember 6 days later.
Grand Cinderella Ballroom of the
I can't
West.
even remember. I just remember at that point, the band sessions and the Tall records were released, and you guys were playing stuff off that, like Pain and Eight and Don't Forget This Song and that shit. And I was like, I was losing my mind because I didn't ever think I was going to hear that stuff live ever again.
Right. Yeah.
It was those.
That was fun. Yeah, we had a long string of songs on the list that were cool because it just didn't seem like we were going so much to the past because we didn't need to play those songs.
Yeah, that's right.
So it was kind of new in that way, rather than just running through the old set or something.
I love those records. What do you think about those records when you look back on them now? Because once I had them for years on bootleg, and I was always like, this shit is amazing. It was made in between Southern and Amorica, right? the band and Tall sessions,
Yeah.
and then they get scratched, which is strange to me. You know, like to me they're just great. You know, but apparently it was just radical drug sessions, and then people are like, "Nah, this isn't good." You know.
Well, you know, that was up to the brothers.
Yeah. Yeah.
To get along and figure out what they wanted, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
they ran everything. They made the decisions. So anything that was wrong fell on them too.
Yeah. Let's talk a
I
little.
hear it's hard to work with your brother.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad I don't have a brother. Yeah. I couldn't imagine because I'm an only child and I'm so, driven.
Right.
And when you have two guys that you have egos and drive, you're going to have some fucking lightning.
Yeah, man.
And it's been the lifetime of that band. I mean,
right.
that always makes something great, and it makes it crash and burn. Usually someone dies before, or you know what I mean?
It does make it intensify it.
It
sure,
does.
yeah.
It does, especially when you got Chris,
Because family, you can, we're the rudest to our family.
Yeah.
Just because you're letting it all hang out. You don't have to.
Well, they know your
polite,
secrets.
Or, yeah.
They know your secrets.
You go home and get real.
Yeah.
With the people around you. And got to be careful.
I mean, it'd almost be like playing in a band with your wife,
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
Tough.
They know everything and they know how to push your buttons. And, I mean, that's it's infamous story of like, you guys would record all night, then Rich would come in and erase everything you guys did.
Yeah.
What were those sessions like, man? It had to be kind of like Stones, maybe 72, like Exile stuff. Just a blur.
It was exactly like that.
Yeah, right?
A blur. No. I don't know. I wasn't there in 72.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I've seen the footage.
It was a lot of a lot.
It was a lot. It's so funny, man.
Take it as far as you can take it.
Yeah, and you guys did, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Let's get into a little bit. Back in the day, you're popping around Hollywood. You play in a band, and you get the call to audition for the Black Crowes. Do you audition before Southern Harmony, or do you just get the gig?
Well, we had become friends, and my band, Bernie Tree, opened up for them on a tour, the East Coast, and we just, we were already in relationship, really, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I've sat in with them so many times, and it was fun. So I think that there was an official tryout where they flew me out. We were just jamming, and
they were living in Atlanta at the time? Right.
And it was like, well, we brought you out here to see if this worked, and do you want to join the band?
I mean, you had to be pretty fired up. This is a fucking band that had a massive first record,
Yeah, but not more so than that. They were a great band, and we played well together.
Yeah, right.
And that was more exciting to me than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, the other stuff was exciting, but I don't think it ever really motivated me for why I chose anything.
Of course. I get it. I'm just saying it's wild.
It was, yeah.
Yeah,
and
all of a sudden
and hell, exciting.
Yeah, right. You're just sitting there and you're like, holy shit, I'm going to be in the Black Crowes. But also,
well, yeah, and I'm going to be able to pay rent.
Yeah. Where were you living at the time, Hollywood or Long Beach?
An apartment down, more Long Beach, right on the edge of L.A. County.
Right.
Kinda.
And then you get in the group and you guys go do what some consider the biggest record. I'm an Amorica guy. Everybody has. It's great when you have a band and you pick an era that, but I mean, of course, Southern Harmony, the guitar playing on it is fucking insane. Right away, you go, oh, this is next level. And the songs were next level because the first record, of course, is kind of Faces. It's fun. There was London Choir Boys out at the time. There was kind of this scene.
Yeah.
You had GNR and all that shit going on. But on this other thing, you had, this kind of rock that no one was doing.
Well, it was Southern.
It was Southern, man.
It had a lot more of the gumbo than these other people were doing.
Yeah,
it was real. It came from the South, and it's a real thing. Growing up on the West Coast, you don't really realize it's kind of almost novelty Southern music.
Right.
You grow up with it, and it's like, oh, that's what they do over there, or whatever. Not realizing, it's why what we do over here is because of what they did over there. You know, that came first. Yeah, and to get into that, and how deep it goes into the gospel and the roots of this American music, it is a lot closer to the roots.
No one was doing that, you know. I mean, you basically have the Sunset Strip and that kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Hollywood.
And then you have some Jane's Addiction, and you've got kind of a punk thing going, but then out of nowhere, you've got this Southern rock that's not like Molly Hatchet trying to be Skinnered. Right. It's more of like, holy shit, it really felt like, you know, completely original, even though we know that it's got all this flavor in there. The songs, you don't listen to songs and go, oh, well, that's completely this or that, you know? I mean...
Yeah. Well, the songs were great, and it was needed at the time, a good rock and roll band.
Yeah, it really was. When you go in there and jam with them, do they have Southern Harmony, most of it wrote, or are you guys writing it in the studio?
They had it pretty together, you know.
Yeah, and when you're hearing the songs, are you going like, holy shit, this is fucking some great songs?
Yeah, but I didn't get too much of a chance to think, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
It was instinctual, everything, because we got a week after that tryout, you know, trip, whatever, or it seemed like a week. I went back and we were in Chris's garage for 2 days, literally rehearsing these new songs and learning them, and it's all happening so fast.
Wow. In his garage?
And they're sort of, there's no real ends or beginnings, and it's still kind of half. So when we got to the studio, we had to finish them there.
Yeah.
You tidy them up, and then, okay, we'll start here and we'll end here. And it just went by so fast because we were done with recording the band in 2 days.
Wow, 2 days. No shit, you guys just went in, set up, track live?
Now, and 2 days in the garage, though.
2 days in the garage.
Which we'd get through like 3 songs a day, you know.
Wow.
There's a lot of laying around and bullshitting with each other, you know.
Yeah, that kind of early on fun chemistry of a rock band, right?
Yeah. And you got to remember, they had been touring 18 months.
Yeah.
They learned how to play together a little bit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because they're playing every night, and you're learning. You're catapulted into this. I saw them at the Stone in San Francisco, and then next thing you know, they're out on tour with like ZZ Top, and then they're kicked off that, but then they're fucking doing all kinds of. That was great. I mean, there's all kinds of touring going on, and they're slowly. You see the machine kicks in like they did with GNR. It's like, oh shit, we got a hit here, and they just keep them out on the road, man, like the slave ship, you know.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, it's actually great for the band because they're thrown into like a full blown like boot camp, you know, of rock and roll.
Yeah, it happens fast.
Yeah, it really does.
People can have real short careers.
Oh, God,
when the match hits, it goes, you know.
Well, you got to look at it. London Choir Boys was out at the same time, and they had a hit, and they had kind of the same look and vibe, but and then they disappeared, you know, because I don't think they had, at the end of the day, they didn't have the songs, and maybe they were more of like putting on costumes and stuff, you know,
I just think that, I mean, the Black Crowes had a little more stud in their nail.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a little more serious and a little like, where London Choir Boys were fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. They were kind of that bar, maybe full-on Faces thing of like that bar, like Boogie Woogie. Pub rock. Yeah, you're right. When you're going in to approach the Southern Harmony, the leads on it are incredible, like Bad Luck Blue Eyes and, you know, that stuff. The flavor on it, Sometimes Salvation, are you approaching it? Were you playing lead like that in your other band, or were you approaching it like listening to stuff like, I've got to get a good flavor here for this?
Oh no, I didn't.
You had it in you.
Yeah, I didn't change anything other than just apply what I knew to what they were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you play a little different because my band was a three-piece that I had been playing as a trio.
Right.
So the adjustment in your playing, when you're playing with two guys or with five guys or four guys or whatever, there is an adjustment. You got to narrow up and make room. You play that much less to fit into the pie of
Right.
the tune, you know. So you just got to be a little more selective about what you do. And where, you know, a trio, you're just blowing it all out all at once. You
Yeah,
know?
because you got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, you got to pick the holes to play. It really feels like that on Southern Harmony. Like you just, every time you come on, there's these just complete, tasty, memorable licks, you know, that are, that you hear them right now. You just know. I mean, I played with you, and it's completely like, oh, Marc Ford. Wow. I mean, like my songs, I loved my songs. And then when you played on them, it was like, holy shit, this is like badass. You know, you start hearing your music with some of your favorite players, and it's a whole different thing.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. So you guys go out, you tour Southern Harmony, everything's going good, right? You come back, you go in the studio, you're working on the sessions, those don't come out, and then you do a record that every Black Crowes fan is probably worships, and it was completely different than Southern Harmony, you know? Amorica, which is, you know, it has the iconic song Wiser Time, which to me, I'm a Black Crowes fan, huge fan. It's the song, whenever they got another guitar player, I knew they wouldn't be able to do it. Because when it kicks in at the top, no one seems to be able to play that slippery, you know, every guy can't do that. It's crazy. They're all good players, oddly. Luther and Jackie Green, they can all play, but they can't seem to play that. And that's right when I know they're missing Marc Ford, you know?
Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, everybody plays who they are, you know?
Yeah, I understand. But I'm just saying
Thank you. Yeah, but that's great. You
Yeah.
know, it's a very featured part.
It really
somehow,
is.
You know? Yeah. Thank you. You know, it's funny because you go through, you learn how to play by copying everybody else that you like, and you select, I'll pinch that, and ooh, that's good. And so you start developing this bag of tricks that you can draw from.
It's a lot like comedy. You know, you learn some crowd work, you write jokes, you learn improv, you know, and everything becomes your bag,
Right.
you know, and you can throw things out. Like, I've got a ninja star for this.
Yeah.
I've got nunchucks for that. I got a gun for this, you
Right.
know?
Yes, and on the whole time, you feel a little bit like a fraud because, oh, do they know that I'm just thinking, you know, Paul Kossoff right here?
Yeah.
And then people start saying, yeah, you could hear your sound. And I'm like, I'm doing everybody else's sound. And I guess, you know, in linking all that together, your own comes with it. So, you know, when we talk about making this record, these records of this period of time, I knew it was great.
Yeah.
But, you know, music will tell on you so bad. Like,
Yeah.
and so you know, in my mind, there's always a little bit back there going like, are they finding me out on this right here? And then as time went on, I just don't care, and I do it on purpose now.
As a shout out to your guys.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Paul was amazing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell people enough how insane Free is. And if you just watch the Isle of Wight, you know, concert,
That was strong. Yeah.
you can't believe that it's just three guys. I mean, Andy Fraser on bass, you know, he's just killing it. And then Paul is just with that Les Paul. And you know, when they do like, you know, when they open up with boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, you know, baby, it's so insane to me.
It's so back.
It's so back.
You know,
It's like it feels like really back, like downers, you know?
right? I learned how to play that way with the Black Crowes. You
Yeah.
know? It was funny because I'd go like, why are they slowing down? They're slowing down until like, oh no, dumbass, you're speeding up.
Yeah.
And you know, I got taught that sitting back,
Pulling back.
yeah, and letting it take you along rather than drag it.
Yeah, that's true, man. Peter Green, you a Peter Green guy.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
Paul, who else?
You know, all the regulars.
Garcia?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once you hear him and get him, you can't not be influenced by
Right.
because it's so great.
Yeah. I hated it all my life growing up in the Bay Area, you know. It's just kind of like, and now I'm absolutely obsessed with it, you know?
Well, I couldn't really get into Coleman when I was younger.
Right.
You know, and I'm not sure that I totally can even yet, that I really understand the depth of, but I sure know a lot more than I did. And once I could start hearing it, then I realized, wow, what a genius.
Yeah.
But until then, it's just blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Jerry's like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely a taste that you have to acquire, and you have to sit down and have some knowledge of it to enjoy it in a way.
Yep.
You know, like jazz music. You know?
It's true. I think that your mind just opens sometimes to stuff, and then it grabs it and gets it. Like growing up, I didn't like Springsteen, and now
Yeah.
I absolutely love him, you know?
Right. No, I wasn't ready for him either.
Yeah.
I was only into very few things that I was into, and everything else sucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right? That's how it
tough.
is. It's kind of like a high schooly thing. Like, my music is great. I love these. These are my bands, and your bands suck.
Right.
You know?
That single-mindedness, though, gets you through some shit, though,
It does.
at the time.
It does.
Gets you off and running, at least. And then time peels away all the shitty layers you have built up
Yep.
from ignorance. You know?
At what point do the band, do they decide, hey, let's start stretching it out? Because to me, it really felt like, and I've talked about this with Gorman, and it felt like Chris was hanging out with the Mother Hips, and he was watching them, and they were heavily Dead influenced and jamming, and he wanted to produce their record, and he brought them to American. And all of a sudden, I see Black Crowes on the America tour at Laguna Seca open for Bob Dylan. And it's a different band. You got the guy on congas, you know. Of course, you got Ed Hirsch and everything. But this band somehow all of a sudden starts having a little bit of a Dead, Mother Hips, take these songs out. And what I liked about it was it really opened my mind to, like, I found the Dead backwards through Mother Hips, Black Crowes, and all these other bands from the Horde tour and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's amazing as I listen to the Dead now, I go, oh, all these bands were just doing the Dead.
Right.
You
Right.
know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean? But you don't
Yeah.
really realize it.
Right.
At what point does Chris come in and say, man, we got to stretch this out? Or are you guys just like, hey, let's play the shit out of these songs? Like a 25-minute My Morning song.
Well, I mean, to jam is a natural progression when you're enjoying playing together.
Right.
I mean, we did it right away.
Yeah.
You know, in fact, we spend more time doing that than having to learn the songs.
At the studio and stuff.
It's been my experience always. Mm-hmm. It's just, let's jam. And,
Yeah.
oh, we got to learn some songs, you know? Like, all right, let's get to that.
Yeah.
And there was a conscious decision made, I think, influenced by that. Yeah, sure, that new scene. I mean, we're always looking for something to inspire us. And where's the next step do I take? And oh, I like that. Let's go explore that.
Yeah.
And so if you don't keep open to that, you're just going to go stagnant really fast.
It was
you
a
know?
wise move, though, because you got to think, here's Chris right now. He's out doing, jam music. And from all the way back then, the jam scene of the Horde and Blues Traveler and all that shit that was going on, once it it hits, you guys are in on this, and you've got into that, and everything else that started with you was long gone and considered like, that's, because grunge came and jam came, and they both existed side by side with Lollapalooza and Horde.
Right.
But all the other bands that weren't involved in that were definitely, see you later, you're out of here. So it was a wise move, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
But I think
to get on the cusp of a scene. Like right at the beginning, sort of. And not only that, headline it.
Yeah, headline. Headlining the Horde tour.
Yeah.
I was there. You told me an amazing story, and I laughed my head off. You guys had a backdrop that was like an elephant, multi-headed elephant, I believe, on the Horde tour. And you told me, and I don't know if this is true or you were just shooting the shit with me, but you and Chris took mushrooms every day on that tour. And at one point you turned and looked back and the elephant was like attacking you. And you said, you went over to Chris and said, hey man, that elephant's coming at me. I got to get out of here. And he was just like, dude, you got to ride that out, man.
No, sort of. I don't remember elephants, but there was like an Eastern sort of thing about it. And they were mushrooms. And I just, out of peripheral vision, I kept looking. Oh, they were little monk guys. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
These little monk guys sitting there.
Yeah.
And we just would take a little before the show.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, it got pretty weird. But this monk guy kept like over my shoulder, and he wouldn't leave me alone, for a minute. So
that's wild.
I was like, Chris, man, this monk guy's looking at me weird.
Do you have a hard time talking about drugs? I did a lot of drugs.
I did too.
Yeah, I know. And I talk a lot about it because if you come out on the other side, people can learn from it. But I really believe, do you believe this, that in order to really, all the great records were made on drugs, right?
Well, not all of them.
Yeah. Which ones you think? I mean, I'm just saying, like, all the best.
I mean, not all the drugs at the same time.
Not all the drugs at the same time. I got it. But well, I mean, I'm just saying, it's a
artistic people have always been involved in mind altering since the dawn of time.
Exactly. So exactly.
It just goes hand in hand, and maybe with the brain chemistry or who knows?
Yeah.
Medication, because there's something either beautiful or disgusting, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
Our society doesn't like it very much.
They really don't.
So you get to start thinking you're kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Well, it's getting so PC now that, like, if you talk about stuff, they're just kind of like, whoa, that guy's a drug addict,
Yeah, right.
But I mean, if you look at if you're alive and you can talk about the experiences, I think that there's amazing stories there. Yeah,
well, when you're in it, you want to look to people who have been through it for inspiration, knowing that this is possible when you think it's not.
Yeah. At what point do you guys start getting really, really, really into it? Like it's like Three Snakes is one of my favorite records, and it's underrated. It's really fucking dark. And that tour was, I saw it at the Berkeley Community Theater, and that tour was pretty dark.
Yeah.
Is that really where it starts to just peak out? Because, of course, this is the end of your first run of the Black Crowes.
Yeah, well, that's when, I was exhausted. And for me, that's when heroin entered.
Right. On the Three Snakes, not before?
Making the record, and it started out once in a while, and then it just got to be more. And
what gets you into that? Boredom?
No, looking for the new high.
Right Yeah, it's
and it's a mother load.
Yeah,
it's better just not.
Yeah, I
do
mean,
that.
it's so brutal on the road too, right? Because of maintenance.
Oh yeah, it's exhausting having a drug habit.
Yeah. What kind of things are going on? Are you out hunting for it on that tour, or you got guys showing up?
Mostly, it's pretty simple.
Right. It's pretty
But
simple.
But when you get a surprise trip to Europe for 7 or 8 days, all of a sudden tomorrow or the night,
Yeah. Then you're staring at I could get sick out there.
well, you hit the streets pretty quick.
Yeah. Wow. There's a great Mother Hip story Greg told me about hitting the streets in Baltimore. Just had hit the streets. They went in the ghetto, and some dudes beat them down.
Yeah.
Took their wallets and one guy's pants. And they fucking walked back to the gig, dope sick and no pants. Insane, right?
Ah, the adventures of drug addiction.
Yeah.
You too can have these experiences.
It was a dark world. So you're out on the Three Snakes. It comes to an end, and do you get fired or do you quit? Because of course everybody has their own story.
I was fired and I was ready.
You were ready.
I wasn't into it really for a while.
What got you out of it? Because those records are incredible. You know?
Yeah. Just the music was never a problem.
It was just the dynamics of the brothers.
Well, that was at the center of it. So, and they ran it, so everything around it was influenced by that, and that energy goes. And there were two camps; you had to pick sides, right?
Yeah.
And so there was division all the time.
And you're on the Chris camp, right?
Yeah.
And then Rich is mad. He thinks you're getting Chris high, and he's like, "If we get rid of Mark, Chris will clean up." Hilarious thought there, right?
Yeah.
And Ed Hirsch is there.
He's the one that he's the one that taught me how to love Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
Ed been around.
Yeah.
He was his own private guy, and if you wanted to enter into his world, that was the thing, but he never was ever trying to get anybody else to be there.
Right. Yeah, he's not like, come over here and try this, but if you want, he's back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was...
He'd actually probably not want to give you anything.
He's glad you ain't doing nothing, right? He's like, good, no one's coming back here fucking with my shit.
I love you, Ed.
I think it's weird because, man, can you feel the drugs on that record, on Three Snakes?
Well, yeah, I'd hope so.
Yeah.
Because, I said, people play like who they are, and if music's done correctly, it tells on you.
Yeah.
And it has to be influenced directly by where you are in life.
Yeah.
That means that's art. That's not playing songs.
Yeah. Now, what year is that you get fired from the Black Crowes?
97, I believe.
97.
Or the end of 96. I don't remember, to be honest.
So once you're fired, does it go downhill for you? Because I don't see you really till around 99. I remember you cleaned up for a little bit. And then...
well, as far as you know.
Well, I remember at one
I
point,
did.
yeah, you were playing with Government Mule guys or something?
Oh, the Blue Floyd thing?
That was it.
Yeah.
I ran into you at a hotel, and you had the funniest term for cocaine. You said, hey, man, do you know anybody that's got any chilly weather out there? And I
Really?
fucking laughed my head off so hard. Chilly weather.
Wow.
Dude, I still say it once in a while when a guy's on it. I'll be like, oh, man, it's getting chilly. That's some chilly weather in here, dude. I never forgot it.
Wow, well, I'm glad because it's hilarious.
Yeah, it is hilarious. It came out of your mouth, son.
Well,
It was dark, man. We were on Van Ness in a hotel, and a buddy of mine came by, Nobody seemed to have money for him, and then it was like, here's some tickets to Blue Floyd, and he's like, I don't need these goddamn tickets. I want the fucking money, man.
What? my good man, these are valuable.
Yeah, right. Blue Floyd was amazing, man. I love that group.
Yeah, the beginning with Woody and Matt, and yeah, that was that was just a way for really Woody and I to play guitar together.
Right.
Pleasant all the other hours.
Yeah.
Besides playing.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, because it's just you're hanging with dudes that are like, hey, whatever happens, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a short. No one was really taking it serious. We're not trying to aim for anything. We're not trying to build a career. We're just cool. We got a few weeks together to play music together.
Yeah.
So there's no pressure for business and, that whole scene. It's just in there. So it's fun.
Right, yeah.
And I think probably less dangerous.
Yeah?
Yeah, because you're happier. You're not looking to get...
You're not getting high because it's
to get out.
Depressed, right. You're more getting high because it's fun and you're having fun playing rock.
Yeah.
I get it, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one of the best times of me, not best times, but an entry into LA was I moved here in, I think, '02 or something. And I hear you're going to play with Chris Robinson at the Malibu Inn. And I was like, oh, this is great. I live in LA. I'm going to, this is fucking first week I'm living here. I'm at the Malibu Inn and you guys are playing acoustic there. And it was one of the best. I got it on cassette still and CD, I think. But it was one of the best gigs. It was so fucking great.
You're a geek.
Yeah, I am a geek.
So you got a collection of shows, and
I got all the shows on CD. Yeah,
I believe that.
I do.
I know you well enough to actually believe that.
Yeah, it's like, to me, it's Black Crowes and Zeppelin, and now.
But just the collection of music like that.
Yeah.
Bootlegs. And,
it's all bootlegs, and it's just Black Crowes. And early on, when I was in Europe, I went to Europe to see you guys, Black Crowes, Milkweg. And I remember being in Amsterdam and rolled into some store and they just had bootlegs, and I just bought all soundboards of Black Crowes, and I was like, and Zeppelin, and then Japan. I was in Japan and I got a shitload.
Yeah, Japan's good for that.
They got the best bootlegs there.
Yeah.
But those gigs, was that really kind of like the let's think about playing again together? It took a few years, of course, because Chris, I really thought you were going to be part of New Earth Mud. There it was. You guys are at Malibu Inn, and you're playing acoustic. Of course, you're doing covers. Like that. What was that one song? Is Red Balloon? That shit was great. Two Balloons or whatever. What a great song. But you guys are doing covers and stuff, and I thought, okay, he's going to be in New Earth Mud. I was really, really thought that was going to happen. Did he talk to you about doing that, or was it always Paul Stacey?
There wasn't really talk that I remember about it.
You didn't think you were going to play with him in the solo group?
I didn't think of that way at all. It was just old friends touching again.
Right.
We were playing a couple gigs with some guys.
Yeah. How's that go?
I didn't know he was planning on creating something,
Right. Does he call you out of nowhere? Or had you not talked to him in years?
I don't remember how it happened,
right.
To be honest with you.
And then eventually you get back into the Black Crowes, of course. How does that happen?
That was just a phone call from the manager.
Pete Angelus?
Yeah.
Does he call you and say, hey, are you clean? Can you do this? Was there rules?
Well, yeah, contractually.
It was like basically you can't party?
I don't remember what it said, to be honest with you.
I'm just curious because
I don't remember. I think it was, finishing. You had to finish things.
Right.
Right. So I don't. Yeah, he called and said, and we talked for quite a while. And
Pete?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot of different aspects, and so we ended up talking on the phone. And I talked to Rich and talked a lot. The funny thing, I developed a relationship with Rich the second time that we never had before, and we were like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Finally, after all those years, sort of learning about each other. And Steve, too, because it was separate camps in a way.
Right. Did you have fun on the second run?
I did.
Yeah, that was. I thought those were some of the best shows ever. I saw all the Fillmore shows.
Yeah, I was having a great time.
It was great.
For most of it.
Your playing was unbelievable.
Thank you.
Now, on that tour, you played a shitload of different guitars, but you're mostly, to me, known as a Les Paul Special. You played that a lot, Is that your main guitar that you play, that you like the most? Because it really introduced me to the Les Paul Special. It was a Les Paul with P90s, and it sounded incredible. And you also had that other Les Paul that was all like engraved. It was that blonde one.
Yeah.
And then on the second wave, you're playing all kinds of different guitars, like probably 10 different guitars on that run. What is your main go-to axe? Is it the Special?
No, I never actually owned a Special.
What was that guitar?
That was my buddy's, and he let me borrow it.
And you just played it all the time?
I mean, maybe during that tour I played it a lot.
Right.
I was really a Fender guy forever. Always Stratocasters.
The white Strat?
Well, yeah, if I could get one.
Yeah.
A black one, too.
Yeah.
Fender was the thing. And first time I really played a Gibson was when Chris gave me that one that ended up being all etched out.
Oh, with the engravings on it?
Yeah, when I, flew over there to start playing, he goes, if you're going to be in the band, you got to have a Les Paul.
Wow.
So
now, was that a gold top and then someone sanded it and then did the engraving?
I don't think so. I think
No?
they made them like that, yeah.
That thing was cool as shit. At
Yeah.
what point do you start playing the matchless amps? Because that really was it seemed like the tone of the Black Crowes, and it really put matchless, I think, on the map, It was like all of a sudden this boutique company comes out of nowhere. Mark Sampson is making these incredible amps that weigh like 400 pounds. They go on 100, and you guys have these stacks of them that say corkscrew and shit, and everybody's like, all the nerds like me are like, look at those amps.
Yeah, they were handsome.
They were, right?
Yeah.
You got any of those anymore?
No.
No?
No.
Did you sell them?
They were owned by the band.
Oh, they were owned by the band.
Yeah.
So everything, all your gear is just band gear?
No, that was.
That was.
Yeah.
Those things were amazing. Did you like them?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
They were, there's great things about them, and then, of course, there are things that are, I miss from other amps.
Right.
And it's just a preference. They're amazing amplifiers, and especially those early ones.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Absolutely.
It was just it took some getting used to, I guess I should say.
Yeah. They're fucking loud as shit.
Yeah.
I remember being front row at the Three Snakes tour. Front row at the Berkeley, and you guys came on and you opened with, I think it was Good Friday. And I was like, oh, I got to trade my tickets. I got to get the fuck out of this front row, man. I couldn't believe and I'm fucking a rock guy. The volume coming off, I was on your side, and I was like, I got to move back, man. Holy shit. Really? It was me and my drummer, Ed Berman, and we were like, how fucking loud is this?
Well, one was 120 watts.
Yeah. Just fucking on 10?
I don't think it was quite 10, but it was out there. Really, that's surprising, because I got my back to it.
Yeah, you do, dude, because this shit, and also you got to think I'm right about floor level,
Right. Yeah,
so
yeah.
there's the 412 just, it's like, whoa.
We talked about that once, and I was just thinking, like, they know what they're getting into. If they want to sit close like that, it's nitty and gritty down there. You know?
My God. You're like so excited to be front row, and then you're so
Almost,
bummed. You're so bummed.
So offended by the volume.
Yeah, like, and it's hilarious, man. And all I kept thinking was back in the day of Hendrix, he would just have 2 stacks on 100, It's
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
Being in the room with one is rough.
Yeah. Do you?
Woody used to, talk about Woody, and when he played bass with the Government Mule, he refused to not have it. He refused, to turn down. He had 2 SVTs, just dimed. 600 watts together, right?
Yeah.
And being in theaters, I would rattle, like 3,000 seat theater, it would just rattle the entire place.
Just all low end, just boom.
Never in the PA system.
Never in the PA system. You know, that's how they played in the 60s, man.
Yeah, those were our heroes. That's why we played loud.
Yeah, right? And also playing loud just
Pisses off the neighbors.
Yeah. And it feels rock.
We were just talking about this at lunch, music being vibration, that you're physically affected by it.
Yeah.
And so, it's going to feel different when you got that much volume blowing past you.
I read somewhere where police have kind of it's a gun that shoots like bass out, and it'll knock a guy down.
Yeah, so you shit yourself.
Yeah, you just fucking boom. It's actually a bass frequency, and you're walking, and all of a sudden, boom, you're down.
Yeah, sonic warfare. Military was on that for a long time.
Yeah, like Woody. That's Woody's weapon right there. Just comes out, hits an E, and fucking people drop.
But it was a beautiful tone.
Yeah.
There's loud and then there's big.
That guy was so good, right?
Not everybody can play 2 SVTs wide open and not have it just make you sick.
Now, you were playing after Black Crowes. I guess you were playing a while with your son.
Yeah.
Doing it. Let's get into what you've been doing the last 10 years or so. After I saw you did a gig with me at the Fillmore. Do you remember that gig at all? It was funny because Gorman said, he remembered the Fillmore, but we also did 2 nights at the Mint, and I did a live record there.
I don't remember.
I know, I know you don't remember that gig, but it was me, you.
But I remember the Mint, sort of. I knew we did other gigs besides the Fillmore.
Yeah,
I just didn't remember what it was.
The Fillmore was epic. I'll tell you a funny story about the Fillmore, and then we'll go on to what you're doing now. You had come up with some friends, and we sound checked, and then you went down to Haight Street, disappeared for a while, came back, and you were saying, hey, do you know anyone with some chilly weather? And I said, that guy over there. And then they announced us, Dean Del Rey Band, and you went over to the guy, he gave you a key shot, and you were like, and your eyes were burning and everything. We're on stage. You couldn't see for like 2-3 songs almost, and you looked at me, and you're like, man, that was Speed. I was like, oh, sorry. So after the show,
Oh, sorry.
This is so great. We're backstage, and you played the fucking shit out of that gig. It was epic. And we're backstage, and I go, sorry about that. And you said, yeah, it's probably better it was Speed because it smoothed out the mushrooms. I never fucking forgot it. You played this gig on mushrooms, sold out at the Fillmore, and you played the shit out of the guitar. And I was like, God damn, that's cool. Man, I'll never forget it. The way you said it just smoothed out the mushrooms.
Well, certain combinations just work sometimes. I wouldn't advise it, but
Now,
there's a lot of shitty highs to get that one once in a while that's just like, if I could live right here, and then you try and it destroys you.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to get into this. You're playing with your son for a while. I was wondering what happened to Marc Ford. I've been wanting to have you on the podcast a couple years. I YouTube you, and it seems that I think it's with this guy. You've joined a church. Is that right? Are you going to church now?
Yeah, for a while.
How long has this been?
I don't remember many dates.
Yeah. Okay.
It's been quite a while,
let me ask you, how does this happen? Do you hit a very low spot and something picks you up?
Well, the tugging was from my wife.
The tug. Are you still married?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Wow. Since back in the 80s, right?
We got divorced and then remarried and then split up again and then
wow.
together again and a child for each portion of the relationship.
Wow. So you got 3 kids?
Yeah.
Wow.
Elijah's birthday's today.
Whoa.
Happy birthday.
Well,
Yeah,
fuck, thanks.
27.
Wow.
Birthday, Elijah.
So you hit a pretty low spot, and your wife leaves you, or says, "Hey, you got to get some spiritual help," or what's happening there?
So I guess, yeah. I mean, the story's out there. It's not. You could probably look it up. Just, I knew the spiritual side of things was intense, and I've had weird things that I've seen and happen to me way before I met the church.
Yeah.
And then when I actually got drug in
to
the church,
Yeah.
you know, I agreed, right, to sort of make some peace. And I just was like, I know God. I don't think he's in here.
Yeah.
You know, and so eventually met Chris Lazat, and he was singing at this vineyard down Laguna Niguel. My wife went. And one of our first dates back together, she's like, you have to come and listen to this guy sing.
Right.
And it was like a Saturday night. So we get down there, and he wasn't singing that day. But he did come out at the end and start. And the second he opened his mouth, like I thought it was a flashback. That things went really weird. And I'm like, okay, this is church. I'm into this.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a difference between a spirit-filled church and just religion.
What is the church and the religion that grabbed you? What is it? Is it Christian or what? I don't know anything about churches. I went as a kid.
There's one for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
But what is this particular one? Is it in Long Beach or where is it?
That one, I'm not there anymore.
Are you not?
It's really Chris that I kind of stick with.
Right. Oh, did he leave the church too?
No, he just got a job at a different one.
I got you.
And it's, you know, yes, Jesus Christ is basically what you're there for.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm not knocking it.
Right.
Whatever.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes.
I always say whatever gets you through, man.
Right.
You know, people, whatever gets people and keeps them alive.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, man.
I mean,
well, you gotta have faith in something.
Absolutely.
And I just started meeting people that I couldn't believe were Christians.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you guys are people too? Because like any religion or sect or any group, you always hear about the extremists.
Of course.
Who got it all wrong and are, you know, doing the bad press. That's all you hear about, you know, especially today with news. This is what's wrong and what's bad.
Yeah.
So
they always shine the light on the crookedness of religion, is what you're saying.
Well, there's hypocrisy and look, God and his creation, you can't confuse the two.
Right.
You can't confuse his followers with him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we're idiots. And so we can't get surprised at poor examples of anything. You know?
Yeah.
And that's really all you hear. And that's what I'm trying to say. So I found a deep under sort of vein that was really more about Holy Spirit and music. And I was doing what I love doing with another voice. Like both Chris's sang like I played guitar.
Right.
So it just resonates together and, you know, and we're like best friends. He's just an amazing man.
Yeah.
Incredible, like, friend.
Now, you feel it saved you, right? I mean, what do you think?
Well, I was about dead. I had tried to wean myself off of dope with other dope.
Oh, like the synthetic stuff. What's it called?
No, this doctor gave me the drugs. Basically, you would get in detox.
Oh, I got you.
Come off of heroin.
Yeah, what's it called?
Well, there's Xanax, there's this, and there's painkillers, and you had the combination of at different times, and
yeah,
you hurt too bad to take care of all that information. So I just kept eating one every time I didn't feel good.
Yeah,
and it went too far, and I was overdosing on that.
Wow, you overdosed?
They said I had a couple more hours.
Wow. Like you were just laying somewhere?
Yeah, at Mom's house.
At your mom's?
Yeah.
Wow. And then she take you in?
She called my wife, or my ex-wife at the time.
Yeah.
And she's going, what do you mean, what do you do? Get him to the hospital.
Yeah. You go there, and is that the last time you got high?
A couple of days later. No.
No?
No.
Oh, man.
A couple of days later, after I was, not in danger or anything, like IC for a few days. And then I went into the recovery place of it. And in the middle of the night, one night, I hear this sound, like electricity going off, and I was just so tired. Like, I'm not, somebody will turn that off.
Yeah.
And then I see this blue light in the room, and I roll over, and Jesus is standing there in front of me, all psychedelic, and the room was, I don't have words to explain. And I was at this peace that I'd never experienced before. I should have been in a lot of pain, but I roll over and I go, "What are you doing here?" And he goes, "Are you done?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "It's time." And I went, "All right," and I rolled back over and went to sleep.
Wow. And then that was it?
It's a giant part of it, yes, sir.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because I've had enough weird experiences to know that it wasn't a weird experience.
Absolutely.
It was divine, so.
Yeah, man. I mean, I got run over on my motorcycle, and I'm alive, Yeah. And I'm just like, I think there's reasons people are still here. And when
you
you're
got
done,
a job to do.
Yeah, when they're done, they're done, know?
Yeah, man.
I mean,
you're do a good job.
You're one of the best players I've ever seen.
Thank you.
I mean, hands down, incredible. If the Black Crowes got together and called you again, would you do it again?
I don't know.
Really?
I mean, I'd be like, we'll see if the time arises. I don't really think about that.
I understand.
Maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of ifs. I found it best not to live in those if worlds.
You're right.
What if? And
you're right.
So I'm still making music that I love with guys that I love. I'm about to make another one in February.
Yeah, let's talk about this now. Do you have a record out with the guys?
Yeah, the Neptune Blues Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made one, and maybe it came out 08 or 09 or something. It was like on the blues charts for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I read that. Like number 15, right?
Yeah.
So is it influenced kind of comes from a early blues, or is it more Clapton, Cream, that kind of stuff? Because your playing is, I felt later on was kind of Clapton,
John Baez in this band plays upright.
Oh, wow.
Which changes everything.
Yeah.
Right away. And then it's just, and the drummer and the keyboard player, all very steeped in the roots of rock and roll. And so with the upright, it immediately has that swing, and so it's got a lot of deep roots there. And then my job is to try to sort of reach it as far as I can into territories that aren't that, cover it with fuzz and so you got hopefully an interesting but very like familiar sound.
Yeah, absolutely. You're also playing
familiar to like our DNA even.
Yeah.
It's part of our society.
You're playing a type of music which we all know you're in the music business, and I thought about it today. It's kind of like it's so fucking bummer, the music. I mean, it's so weird because I thought about it today as in this kind of frame of mind. If let's say you played in the NFL for 10 solid years and you're the number one player in the NFL, And then all of a sudden they said, the NFL just doesn't have money. You're going to play in Pop Warner from now on. And you're like, well, it's all I've ever done all my life. I guess I got to play Pop Warner now. There's no money or nothing, but it's all I know to play football. That's what music's like to me now. Of course, you and I and people, you never play music for money when you're starting out, and then it becomes 30 years go by, and you're like, well, this is my job, and I play music, and there's no money, and it's never about the money. But when you've done something all your life, you can't just all of a sudden work at like Starbucks, to make money.
Yeah.
So you're doing a Kickstarter to get the record going. But it's, how do you survive? I'm just curious how a person survives, because I had to find ways, man. I learned to eBay and sell stuff for people and flip, motorcycles or car, whatever I could do to keep my art going. How do you survive? Do you slowly just get by?
Yeah, at times.
Yeah. Do you get royalties from Black Crowes Records? I know they're just reissuing the vinyl.
No.
Zero money from the Black Crowes.
No, I was an employee.
You were an employee the entire time?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Did you, and no writing credits, of course, right?
Mm-mm.
That's incredible. So what about mechanics? Do you get that because you played on the records?
No.
Nothing. Holy shit. I can't even believe that.
It was a job, and I was paid for it.
I get it. But still...
Well, they represented it different.
They what? Represented it different?
Yeah, they represented it as it was a band.
Right. Wow. That's heavy, man.
I knew what it was, and I was there
I
on
get
my
it.
own.
I get it. I talk to all the guys all the time, Jakey Lee, all kinds of guys. They write songs, and at the time, it's big and it feels good, but that's also a crime. I mean, most drummers I have on, I love to have drummers on the show because I feel they get no love, and people don't understand. There's no good band with a bad drummer.
Yeah.
So if you like that band, 90% of it is the songs and the drummer.
Yeah. Oh, drums. Yeah, but they all end up with businesses somehow. You know what I mean?
Drummers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sort of got a thinking that works.
Right.
Business wise,
Yeah.
They're smart.
So
They don't show it though.
let's talk about what you're doing. You got a Kickstarter now. Do you know the Kickstarter address or anything? Because I really wanted to have you on. I love you, man. Like
Thank
big
you.
time. I don't really know you. We played some gigs together, and I've known you over the years here and there. But the amount of people that love your playing and in the Black Crowes, there's bonding I've had over years with people that have become my friends over the years for 20, 30 years because of Black Crowes and your playing. Really, it's insane. So I just want the best for you always. So
Thank you. Yeah.
I would
Appreciate it.
You're playing a music that is going to be a small market, and that takes a lot of balls because it means you love that music.
Yeah.
And you're not doing it. You're not gonna. It's not gonna sell 1 million records. But
Yeah.
you play because you love it. I do comedy because I love it,
Yeah,
But what are you going to do? You just love doing what you do.
Right.
What is the Kickstarter address? And let's talk about it. You're going to do the record in San Francisco at Tiny Telephone. I know that's a studio.
Yeah. Pitching studio.
Why did you pick that studio? Do you know the guy?
I just met him a couple months ago. I recorded there for a friend. And John Vanderslice.
Yeah.
And he's just he's incredibly talented. And when you're working with him, it's like another member in the band because he is back there manipulating things while you're recording, and he's really tuned in like the rest of the players. So he's adding so much
Right.
while you're recording.
That's bitching.
And and all the gear is the best kept up analog stuff. And he's
Has
just
he got
really-
like an old Neve in there? What's he got?
He's got an Eve in one room, and in the other room, I can't remember the name of it, but the one Albini loved.
Oh, like a Studer or something.
Yeah, I'm not exactly
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I love that Albini on Sonic Waves, Sonic Highways. When you see his studio and his love, there's people in the world like Albini that just is. Thank God they're here. You know.
It's like what we're talking about. That you do what you love.
Yeah.
And you may have a smaller market, but
You're happy.
But it's a finer. Oh shoot! What's the word? Product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, happiness.
Yeah. But I'm thinking more from the listener's point. You're gonna have a smaller audience just because it's a richer, deeper thing.
Yeah.
And most people don't want rich and deep. They want get me out of here. This,
Yeah. Yeah.
just whistle a tune,
Well, I mean,
which is cool.
Yeah.
But I love it, and I'm gonna do it whether you watch me or not. It's kind of my attitude.
Yeah.
And thank God I've made a living at it. Not a great one, but we eat every day, and we're good, and we got lights on, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's not as good. It's like, if you can't handle the times that aren't as good, you sure as hell ain't gonna handle the times where it's plenty, because you'll treat it the same.
Yeah.
And you'll spin out. You gotta learn how to handle the deal.
Over the time when you were out of the Black Crowes, were you getting calls for people like you played with Ben Harper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get any calls from big bands that were like, "Hey, man, you want to come play with us?" Or was it kind of like, "Uh-oh, that guy's not doing good"?
After the Black Crowes?
Yeah, like, did you get any big bands? Because
No.
No. It's crazy because, I mean, I immediately hit you up like, "Hey, man, you wanna do a gig?" Like, who wouldn't want you in the band?
Well, because word on the street.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I get it.
Yeah, it was it didn't help. Let's put it that way.
What was it like playing with Ben Harper?
It was great. I'm glad. It was great. I love the guys in the band. I love Ben, and we made great music together. I had a lot of fun together. That record that we did, "There Will Be a Light," is an incredible record with the Blind Boys Alabama.
Yeah, that band is incredible.
And it stands up there with that's the thing. The music, whatever's going on in my life around the music has always been. I can hang my hat on that. You know what I mean? Like, all right.
Yeah, you're proud.
Well
of
done,
it.
Mark.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be proud of all the records you played on, man. They're all.
I'm just happy because I think I got close to something I ever heard what inspired me.
Yeah.
And people are telling me like you just said, music touched me in such a radical way.
Me too.
That like we said at the very beginning, if you don't talk about it and give it away, what good is it?
Yeah, exactly. It's it grabs us, and then it's weird. It's the first drug in your body that never leaves.
It's an honor just to be able to hand something off like that.
Yeah. So you've got this Kickstarter. What is it, Marc Ford? It's on Kickstarter. What do the people look up?
I don't. You go to Kickstarter.com, I suppose,
and type in
and
Marc
just put
Ford.
in Marc Ford, M-A-R-C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then donate. You're looking to get $40,000.
Yeah, we did after you're making when you finally get done making the records and the CDs, and there's no label. So,
Yeah.
So all of that's in the cost of the thing, and getting a band to San Francisco and putting them up, and
Yep.
There's feeding them, and it gets plus the studio and paying everybody, so it gets up there pretty quick. I could do a record cheaper, but I don't think it would be right now. It's the idea of getting us out of Long Beach, because together we've been working in Anthony's studio, the Compound, for so long.
Yeah.
We're kind of
Too comfort.
It's the house band.
Yeah.
So get everybody out and into San Francisco, where it's just creative all
Something
the time.
about something like that too. When you go to a studio, it just feels real.
Yeah.
and you're setting up, they're micing shit up, and you're like,
There's no distractions at home.
Nope. It's like, this is going down.
Keep your head in the game, you know.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I'm really excited about it. And
You singing in the band?
yeah.
Yeah. Who are some of these singers that you love that singing's hard as fuck, right?
Yes.
It's so hard. People don't understand. It's your body.
Yeah.
Of course, guitar, you can get a little carpal tunnel or you can get some arthritis and stuff. But with singing,
It's a physical, really.
every
physical
day,
thing.
man, it's like however your body feels is what's going to come out.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't get enough sleep, you're going to be all horsey and raspy.
Yeah.
If you don't,
Well, just learn to breathe, right?
learn to breathe. And also, learning to sing and play guitar at the same time takes a long time. Of course, not just doing the pockets of like, that's easy. But when you're doing riffs, and then singing, that shit is fucking hard, man. You know?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense to me.
Yep, me too.
They work together somehow.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I get stumped, and I just won't do that.
Well, I
I
think
tend to stay with the things that I'm good at.
when you're writing songs too, it comes out for me, the vocal and the music at the same time, the melody line. So you're just writing, it's like, oh yeah, you know.
You saying when you're writing?
When you're writing the song,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot. So it's not like, I find if somebody gives me a song and says, here, write some lyrics on that, it's going to be way different than how I would write and sing my own music.
Right.
You know, because they don't understand pockets and riffing and melody and everything.
Yeah.
They're like, here, just write something on that. And you're like, yeah, well, you know.
I've never done that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd probably be challenging for
Yeah.
me. Because to me, it's very, very private. And it's very just me time, super me time. And
Yeah.
I have to kind of get away. And so, the music and the lyrics have to go together.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't open my mouth that often. So when I do,
Yeah.
it's got to mean something, So, yeah, and they don't come together. I'll get a piece of something,
Yep.
guitar or hum something or a lyric or something or one word to hang the idea on or.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of scrap it together. Just get in the wood, get in the closet and hammer that thing out.
Absolutely.
And then once in a while, one drop's finished for you.
Man, that is crazy, right?
They're the
It all
best
comes
ones.
out at once. Yeah, they're the best ones.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite producer you ever worked with? Because if you listen to those Black Crowes records, what the amazing thing about them is, a lot of records that came out in that era are dated sounding. Right away you go, oh, so 91, or that big snare thing is so 80s, But these Black Crowes records, sometimes, Southern Harmony, Amorica, and Three Snakes, they sound fucking, they sound great. There's no dated on it.
Yeah. Well, Well, I think we were trying to stay pretty true to the things we learned from, and which is bizarre, because I think it's just that it's roots music and it's familiar and we've heard it a long time.
Yeah, don't need to camouflage it with
effects.
effects.
Can't really date it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's.
How was Jack to work with? Because he seemed like a great producer.
He was really amazingly great at some things and not that great at communication.
At communication.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, what are you looking for? And he's just like, I don't know, but that's not it. I hate when guys do that.
It was just difficult to talk to him. I don't know why. We would just talk different languages, I suppose.
Right.
And he got fantastic sounds. I mean, he walked around with a stethoscope, on a microphone pointing at the spot on the speaker of the guitar amp that he's gonna mic. And it just, for me, by the time he did all that, and said, all right, let's play the part. I didn't want to play it anymore.
Yeah, it takes too long to get the
Yeah.
tone, and then you're like, dude, are we still here?
Right.
I hate that, right?
But I mean, the finished product is well worth the tones are amazing. It was just, yeah.
What's your favorite record out of
Lightning
those
strikes,
three?
you just want to point a microphone at it and
Yeah,
go.
right.
Yeah.
What was your favorite one out of those three?
Well, I think probably the first. It's like,
Yeah.
like you said, the excitement of everything new, and
That Mark Seliger photo of you guys at the junkyard in the mud, bell bottoms. I remember going to Mark's office, Rolling Stone, and he had a different outtake in his office of that photo.
Oh, really?
And I was like, when you see a photo so long in your life, you know the exact poses.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, that's wrong in my
Yeah.
mind, And he's like, no, that's photo number 4. I have the famous poster in my house of the Amorica one with the POW gun,
Yeah.
and you're laying in the grass.
Yeah.
Are you laying in the grass because you're loaded, or was you just bored?
we were standing there too long.
Yeah, I have that poster, and it's framed, and it's one of my favorites of all
Yeah, that was a
time.
fun picture.
So great.
There's another one where we're all leaning.
I don't have that one. It's Chris with the gun. It says POW.
Yeah, but the guy tilted the camera and we all leaned just a bit, so it looked like we were standing on a hill.
Oh, wow.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a great picture.
So you going to come play at my birthday party?
That's what I hear.
Yeah, next
Yes.
Tuesday.
That's right.
This comes out on Monday, so it'll be tomorrow. And we're doing the Highway to Hell record.
All right.
So I think that maybe you play on the last two. One being Night Prowler with Chris Goss from Masters of Reality.
Okay.
Because we can do a long, that's a bluesy thing. We can do a long out jam in that. And I think right before it, I'm not sure which song, maybe Beating Around the Bushes before it. I can't remember, but we'll get the last two, have you play on. And it'll be so great to fucking share the stage with you, man.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
Are you a big AC/DC fan?
Yes.
Yeah?
But it's not something I put on
Yeah.
that often. Except once in a while, you just got to get a shot at AC/DC.
Yeah. It's true. I look at it in the same way as I look at you in the Black Crowes. If you replaced Angus, it's just not the band. And that's how I felt with Black Crowes. The other guys were great, but it's just not the band. And everybody's going to agree with that.
So thank you. Yeah.
It's
nice. We made some great music.
You really did. So I'm looking forward to having you on that stage again. What guitar you think you'll play at an Les Paul?
I don't know. Do I bring one?
Yeah,
or
you
just
gotta,
play one that's there.
You gotta bring a guitar. You gotta bring a guitar.
I don't know. I probably won't know until the second I walk out the door.
All right. So, fuck, man. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, dude.
Thank you for having me. Man.
Yeah.
It was great. You sort of,
I mean,
there's a little bit of nerves that sort of jitter when you're asking, hey, can I have 40 grand?
Yeah. Exactly.
It tears a little bit out of, yourself. Like, are people going to give me this? And so when I finally just launched it, I got the call.
It feels
from you.
weird. It feels
nice.
weird when, like myself, I have a donation page on Patreon, which is like people can donate to this podcast. I don't ask them to do it, but I run this whole thing on my own money, and there's no money, and sometimes there's a little money, whatever. But I would do it in the back seat of my car if I had to fucking do it.
Yeah.
And I understand what you're talking about. It feels weird. You're an artist, and you're like, wait a minute. We put a website up, and we ask people for money. But, this is the day and age of that's what it is.
Yeah.
And we want...
It's beautiful, I really think.
I do, too.
Because now...
The true fans.
Yeah, it's back to the street, and it's back to, if you like it, pay for it directly and have it made.
Yep. You're so right.
And so it's everybody working together,
Well, I'm going to be... How many days
Instead
is the
of
page
some
up?
bank paying
Yeah.
for it and stealing all your profits.
Yeah, man. I'm still fucking blown away that you're not getting any money from the Black Crowes, but I mean, that's a crime.
Yeah, well.
I hear you. I'm not knocking them.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking them at all.
That's the way it went down, and
Yeah.
that's how it is.
I never knock anyone. I understand dynamics of bands. I played in them all my life, and I know how fucking hard it is. You know, there's nothing harder than a band. I mean, most people, they go to a job, they hate like one person at their job, or maybe two. They're like, I can't stand this guy. But they punch in, they get a paycheck, and they're off at 5:30 or 6.
They go home.
They go home, and that guy's out of their life. But when you're in a band and it fucking has a song like Sometimes Salvation, and now you're with guys for the next 10 years, you slowly start to figure out people in a tour bus, in a submarine, cruising around America.
You get to know each other real good.
Real good.
And you get to, exercise your sort of patient.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's intense, I mean,
It is intense.
It's like submarine dudes.
It is submarine dudes.
Yeah.
People don't understand that tour bus, that bunk is right below another guy's bunk, and one day you're going to go, I don't like how you snore.
Yeah.
And it just comes out of nowhere, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
You heard me, and it's, I mean, look at right now, we're looking at Guns N' Roses, and it reminds me a lot of that 2005 with Black Crowes. We don't know who's going to be playing on drums and rhythm guitar.
Yeah.
And everybody on the planet always says the same fucking shit. I can't believe they don't just get back together. And a lot of people don't understand. Like, it's like, hey, man, were you married for 20 years?
Well, yeah, why don't you
and
just
then you get back together with a lady, you know what I mean? You did it. That's rare. That's rare.
I'm a glutton.
But people don't understand,
Yeah.
The dynamics of rock and roll is, the reason it works is because it's dangerous and it's meant to stick around for a couple years and explode.
Yeah, well, it's a lifestyle and it's a commitment.
Yeah.
I mean, it was invented by and for a very young time period, young people.
Young people.
And it was rebellion. And and it was, you're supposed to piss people off.
Yeah.
With it. It's supposed to matter. And anything that's potent and good and real matters. And
Totally.
it's taxing on the people that do it because it's good and real and it matters.
Exactly.
It's life-giving and it can be draining at the same time. And it's a brave world to step out into, and besides the 9 to 5 thing, which everyone is going
Zero safety.
You're absolutely insane for not taking this option.
Yeah, I know. Everybody looks at me like that. Like, you mean you're
Freak.
50?
It'll never happen.
You do stand-up comedy and you're 50? It's like, fucking A, I do.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Are you go home? Are you happy? Are you proud of what you do?
Right.
Are you creating anything? Are you making people feel good?
Oh, no, that's useless. Like, who needs that?
Let me ask you one last question before we split. Mick Taylor, you think one of the greatest guitar players of all time?
Oh, yeah, sure. He had a touch that was phenomenal. Sense of melody, and he's just real classy sounding guy.
Yeah. The only reason I bring that up is, to me, it's exact to the Black Crowes. Mm-hmm. That's the era of the Stones.
Yeah, that's a
68 to 74, That's the shit.
Yeah, well, you can't burn that bright all the time. There was a lot of 3-year guys.
There was a lot of 3-year guys. You're right. All right, you've got a Twitter, the Marc Ford Music.
Yeah.
With a C, M-A-R-C, Ford Music. Marc Ford Music on Twitter. You've got to, please, I'm going to donate to this. Donate to his Kickstarter. Go to Kickstarter.com. Hit in Marc Ford. Also, do you have a website?
Yes, MarcFordMusic.com.
Marc Ford Music. And is your son still playing music?
He sure is.
Wow.
ElijahFordMusic.com.
Really? Does he play bass? Or what does he play?
He played bass with Ryan Bingham.
Right. Oh, wow. Ryan, he's great.
Because I had done his records, those 2 records, and that bass player was goofy, and I said, my son can do it.
Yeah.
And he went, really? And I went, yeah. And then I went, it was Elijah's birthday, I bought him a bass. I went, learn Ryan's songs.
Oh, no. I love you, man. Anybody else in the family play music?
Well, my wife is a fantastic singer, and our daughter Eva is showing signs.
How old is she?
7.
Wow, 7. You're gonna get her into the demons of the music world.
No way.
Yeah, right. Hey, you get out of here.
Hey, if she does it, that's
Yeah.
I'm behind her totally, but she can do what she wants. You know?
Yeah, of course.
Because like there's Noah, my middle son, who is the one in the family that's not gonna do music.
Oh yeah?
And that's his identity. And I'm the guy that's not going to do what you guys are doing.
What's he into?
He is into, video games.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He loves movies, and he's like got a photogenic memory, and he's writing stories. He wants to write video games.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and he's talented.
You a big movie guy?
I'm not, I don't follow it too much. But
Right.
I love a good movie. I love sitting in the theater.
Me too.
Yeah.
I just saw Hateful Eight. And,
Yes, I want to see that.
And The Revenant. The Revenant is
two, huh?
The Revenant is
Yeah.
the best film I've seen since No
you
Country
saw
for
that?
Old Men. Woo!
Yeah.
This film, whenever somebody says I've got tough times. Like when I was in the motorcycle crash, I thought laying in the bed, I kept thinking about the guy from 127 Hours. I'm like, no, man. Yeah, I'm fucked up here, but that guy cut his own arm off. Now, when you see The Revenant, you're like, you got tough times, but you got to understand we're in a modern world and you just get through it.
It's like being on my back trying to kick, methadone
Exactly.
for weeks on end. You tend to think about, you prioritize.
Yeah. Are you clean now?
Yeah.
How long have you been clean?
Oh, year or so again. Now it's 7 years, and then 3 years, and then it's
Right.
But it's not. There's no more drugs, hard drugs. There's no drugs.
Weed?
Well, it's medicinal,
Yeah, I get it. Hey, man, I don't judge anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
You got to, like I said, whatever gets you through, man.
That's
You
right.
know?
Yeah, I'm a different dude. Absolutely changed.
Yeah.
So I'm not as dangerous as I was.
Yeah.
I don't get hung up about stuff that makes me want to run away.
Is that why you got high, just to
I
run
was
away?
scared to death.
Got
I was
ya.
a young man trying to, I don't care what anybody says. Like, there's always that scratching of doubt that you have to conquer.
Yeah.
And then it's a super intense, bright explosion, a wave that we rode for a few years together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was intense.
Yeah, man.
People have gotten out of it a lot worse than I did.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't get out.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here, dude.
Me too.
And we're going to play again Tuesday.
Right on.
Can't wait, man. Thank you so much for coming down. And listen, when you make this record,
Yeah.
I want you to come back here.
Okay.
We'll play tracks from it,
Cool.
and we'll go through the record, and we'll talk about you making it, and and we'll pump the fuck out of this record.
Right on.
I mean it, man.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank
There
you.
he is right there, Marc Ford, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and follow him on Twitter, and donate to that Kickstarter, and, keep rocking. See ya.
Bye-bye.